On October 18, 2025, Moscow awoke to a deceptive calm. The city, shrouded in the soft glow of dawn, seemed to promise a day like any other. Yet, beneath this serene facade, tensions simmered, unseen by the waking populace. The air was thick with anticipation, a silent prelude to the chaos that would soon unfold. Russian forces, confident in their air defenses, launched hypersonic missiles at supposed Ukrainian targets. These missiles, symbols of technological prowess, cut through the sky with lethal precision, their trails painting ominous streaks across the horizon. The operation was executed with military precision, a show of strength meant to intimidate. But Ukraine had tricked them with false intelligence, leading to empty strikes. The missiles found only barren fields and abandoned sites, their destructive power rendered impotent. It was a masterstroke of deception, a strategic feint that left the Russian military grasping at shadows. The real target was Moscow's financial heart, the IQ quarter. This district, a symbol of Russia's economic might, stood vulnerable under the cloak of night. Its towering skyscrapers, usually bustling with activity, were now the focal point of a daring operation. As Russian commanders celebrated, Ukraine's operation was already underway. Unbeknownst to them, their moment of triumph was fleeting. The celebration was premature, a brief respite before the storm. Communications failed, and surveillance systems died. The heart of Moscow's defenses was silenced, its eyes and ears rendered useless. Panic rippled through the command center as screens flickered and went dark, leaving operators in a state of confusion. The attack began with a whisper, dismantling digital defenses. It was a silent invasion, a cyber onslaught that breached firewalls and bypassed security protocols with ease. The digital realm, once a fortress, crumbled under the weight of the assault. Moscow's residents were unaware of the battle unfolding. Life continued as usual, with people going about their daily routines, oblivious to the invisible war being waged around them. The city's pulse remained steady, a stark contrast to the chaos beneath the surface. This was a psychological blow, proving no part of Russia was safe. The attack struck at the heart of national security, sowing seeds of doubt and fear. It was a reminder of vulnerability, a chilling message that resonated far beyond the immediate impact. The world watched as reports of explosions emerged. News outlets broadcasted the unfolding drama, capturing the attention of a global audience. The images of smoke and fire, juxtaposed against the iconic Moscow skyline, painted a picture of turmoil and uncertainty. The war had reached Moscow in a dramatic fashion. The explosions, though distant, were a stark reminder of the conflict's reach. They signaled a new phase in the war, one that brought the battle to the very doorstep of the Russian capital. The stage was set for a new kind of warfare. This was not just a battle of arms, but of minds and machines. The digital and physical realms intertwined, heralding a future where traditional boundaries of warfare were blurred and the rules of engagement rewritten. Ukraine's infiltration of the IQ quarter was a stealthy masterpiece, a blend of cutting-edge technology and meticulous planning that redefined the art of modern warfare. Under the cover of darkness, the city's skyline became a silent witness to a new kind of battle, one fought not just with soldiers, but with machines and invisible code. Silent drones, equipped with advanced sensors and cloaking technology, glided over the cityscape. They mapped every corner of the complex, transmitting real-time data back to command, all while avoiding detection by Russian surveillance systems. Their presence was undetectable, their mission precise. On the ground, spider-like robots scuttled through corridors and ventilation shafts. These agile machines created a digital twin of the building's interior, capturing every detail, from security cameras to hidden passageways, building a virtual replica for Ukrainian forces to study and exploit. Meanwhile, Ukrainian cyber units became digital ghosts within the enemy's network. They slipped past firewalls and security protocols, moving unseen through streams of data, gathering intelligence, and preparing the digital battlefield. With a few keystrokes, they seized control of security systems, blinding Russian operators to their presence. Cameras looped old footage, alarms stayed silent, and doors unlocked at just the right moment, all orchestrated from afar. This digital foothold was crucial. It allowed Ukrainian forces to anticipate every move, neutralize threats before they appeared, and coordinate their actions with surgical precision. In this new era, the battle was won in the digital realm long before boots touched the ground. Virtual maps and real-time data gave Ukrainian commanders an unprecedented advantage, turning chaos into calculated strategy. The IQ quarter became a glass house, every secret exposed, every defense mapped and understood. Ukrainian forces saw through walls, predicted patrols, and navigated the fortress as if they had built it themselves. Russian security, confident in their fortress, remained oblivious. Their screens showed nothing amiss, their routines undisturbed, even as the very heart of their defenses was being compromised. With every digital layer peeled back, the stage was set for a shocking strike, one that would catch the defenders completely off guard and change the course of the conflict. This operation didn't just achieve its objective, it highlighted a new dimension of warfare, where drones, robots, and digital ghosts are as decisive as any soldier on the ground. The transition to open attack was sudden and devastating. In the early hours, the city's silence was shattered by a calculated eruption, a moment that marked the end of covert operations and the beginning of a new, relentless phase of warfare. At precisely 0600, Ukraine's elite cyber units launched their assault. In an instant, control rooms across the city plunged into darkness as screens flickered and died. The digital heartbeat of the city flatlined, leaving operators staring helplessly at blank monitors. Security cameras, once the ever-watchful eyes of the enemy, now betrayed them, looping endless footage of empty corridors, masking the true movements within the buildings. The illusion of normalcy hid the chaos unfolding just out of sight. Overhead, armed drones swept through the city, unleashing electromagnetic pulses that rippled through the urban landscape. These invisible waves scrambled electronics, sowing confusion and panic among defenders. Radios crackled and then fell silent. Phones became useless slabs of plastic. Russian guards, cut off from their commanders and each other, found themselves isolated, unable to call for help or coordinate a response. Explosive charges detonated with surgical precision, severing vital communication cables and blasting breaches in reinforced walls. Smoke and debris filled the air, further disorienting the defenders and opening new paths for the assault teams. Inside, the once high-tech stronghold was reduced to a tomb of silence. Control panels were dead, alarms mute, and the defenders were left deaf, dumb, and blind, stripped of their technological advantage. This was no accident. Ukraine's strategy was clear. Blind and confuse the enemy, disrupt their ability to fight back, and seize the initiative before the defenders could regroup. Each explosion, each severed cable, was more than just destruction. It was punctuation in a sentence written in code, a message that the rules of war had changed. The IQ quarter, once a symbol of power and security, now stood isolated and vulnerable, surrounded by empty streets and the distant hum of military vehicles closing in. Ukraine fought a different kind of war, one where bytes and bandwidth were as lethal as bullets and bombs, and where innovation was the ultimate weapon. The initial assault was a symphony of disruption, each element perfectly timed and executed, overwhelming the enemy with a relentless barrage of both physical and digital attacks. As the dust settled and the city reeled, Ukrainian special forces prepared for the next phase. The countdown had begun, and the operation was far from over. Explosions jolted Russia's military into action. Fighter jets scrambled, ordered to shoot down anything that moved. Ukraine anticipated this and launched cruise missiles at air defenses. A temporary corridor of vulnerability was created. A swarm of attack drones overwhelmed Russian defenses. The drones targeted military forces, delaying reinforcements. Ukraine's strategy used cruise missiles to suppress defenses. Russian jets struggled against the drone swarm. It was a clash of military doctrines. Ukraine controlled the sky above the target zone. The air battle for Moscow had begun. With contested skies, Ukraine's ground assault began. Armored vehicles stormed the Presnensky embankment. Unmanned tanks provided heavy firepower. The sight of their own tanks used against them demoralized Russian units. The mission was to create a pathway for special forces. Armored vehicles formed a defensive circle. The streets became a war zone, littered with burning cars. Russian units fought back fiercely but were outmatched. The special forces reached the IQ quarter entrance. The battle for the tower was about to begin. Inside the IQ quarter, the battle shifted to narrow corridors. Ukrainian forces used heads-up displays linked to building maps. Mini drones provided real-time video feeds. Russian defenders were at a disadvantage, fighting in their own territory. Ukrainian forces adapted to Russian defenses. They used the building's network to disable turrets. It was a dynamic chess match, floor by floor. The slow, methodical ascent had begun. The vertical battlefield was a test of technology and tactics. Russian command unleashed attack helicopters. Ukrainian electronic warfare teams executed a spoofing attack. Helicopters were disoriented by phantom data. Ukraine's air defense revealed itself, striking helicopters. The sky became a chaotic kill zone. The counterattack was thwarted by electronic trickery. Remaining helicopters retreated, leaving ground forces unsupported. The audacious defense had bought Ukraine precious time. With helicopters neutralized, the final push began. Combat robots led the charge, absorbing fire. Ukrainian soldiers advanced behind robotic shields. The rooftop was the symbolic climax. A Ukrainian flag was raised over Moscow. The image was a powerful symbol of resistance. It declared the heart of the aggressor's power vulnerable. The mission was complete. The flag marked the end of the assault. The successful raising of the flag was a statement of capability. The daring escape was about to begin. The Ukrainian flag over the IQ quarter sent shockwaves globally. The operation was a stunning military success. It exposed Russia's vulnerability and shattered its narrative. The assault was a watershed moment in modern warfare. Autonomous drones and electronic deception were potent force multipliers. Military strategists studied the operation as a future blueprint. Russia faced a crisis of confidence in its leadership. The strike marked a new, unpredictable phase of conflict. The rules of war had changed, with global consequences.